What players come to mind when you think about 30 points per game? Probably guys like Jordan, Kobe, AI, Wilt, some of the all-time greatest scorers ever. But there's also a lot of players who you'd never expect to average 30 points per game for an entire season, and usually it seems like it happens out of nowhere. How's it going, fellas? My name's Andy, and today we're going to take a look at 5 NBA players who randomly almost had a 30 points per game season. Alright, let's get started. Number 5, Kiki Vandeweghe. For those unfamiliar with Vandeweghe, he was the 11th overall pick in the 1980 NBA draft. He was drafted by the Mavericks and then refused to play for them, so they were forced to trade him. So he became a Denver Nugget, and for the first 4 years of his career, he was playing on those very fast-paced Nuggets teams that played no defense whatsoever. In his 4th year in the league, he averaged 29.4 points per game on 56% from the field, which was insane. His most memorable game that season was against the Detroit Pistons, which turned out to be the highest scoring game in NBA history, with a final score of 186 to 184. Vandeweghe recorded a career-high 51 points in that game. In his first 4 seasons, he drastically improved every single year, but unfortunately, his 4th season in the league would also be his last season in Denver. Despite being just 25 years old and the Nuggets' leading scorer, he didn't really do anything else on the court, and his defense was atrocious. The team only won 38 games. So in the following summer, the Nuggets traded Vandeweghe to the Portland Trail Blazers, where he never matched that level of production again. Coincidentally, the Nuggets immediately got way better after this trade, winning 52 games in the following season and reaching the Western Conference Finals. Maybe it wasn't a coincidence. Number 4, Gilbert Arenas. Now, you might be thinking, why is Arenas on this list? Everyone knew he was a great scorer. It's not random for him to average 30 points per game. But he's on here because he came out of nowhere and shocked the world when he did that. Before he was known as a lethal scorer, Arenas was the 31st overall pick of the 2001 draft. According to him, he chose to wear the number 0 because that was the number of minutes that experts predicted he would play in the NBA. And after 2 solid seasons in Golden State, they didn't even want to keep him, so he signed with the Washington Wizards. Arenas had a huge chip on his shoulder, which he used as motivation to improve every year as a player, and become that deadly scorer we all remember him for nowadays. After joining the Wizards, his scoring improved every year, and eventually he became one of the best scorers the NBA has ever seen. By the 2005-06 season, he averaged 29.3 points per game while finishing 3rd in the NBA in offensive box plus-minus with plus 6.9, only behind LeBron and Kobe. In the following season, he'd actually finished 1st in that category. Not bad for a 2nd-round pick. Of course, later on, a devastating knee injury and some off-court issues quickly derailed his career. Number 3, David Robinson. Robinson was always a good scorer. For the first couple years of his career, he was averaging around 23-24 points per game a season, which is good. But in the 1993-94 season, he exploded and averaged 29.8 points per game. What makes this so amazing is how he accomplished it. Nearing the end of the season, there was a fierce battle between him and Shaq for the scoring title. A few days before, Shaq put up 53 points, taking a small lead over Robinson. So, how does Robinson respond? Well, in the last game of the season, he decided to go all out. With some help from his teammates feeding him the ball, he scored 71 points. After the game, he said, "It was unbelievable. As a leader, I just try to win games, but tonight they really wanted me to shoot it. When the game started, they were looking for me almost every time down the court." The Spurs also finished the season with 55 wins and entered the playoffs with a lot of momentum. But then they lost in the first round in 4 games, and Robinson had a terrible series. Number 2, Isaiah Thomas. The last pick of his draft. In the 2016-17 season, Isaiah averaged 28.9 points per game and finished 5th in MVP voting. In the previous couple of seasons, he showed that he was capable of being a 20 points per game scorer, but averaging nearly 30 was a huge surprise. With his poor defense, nobody thought he could stay on the court for that long, but the Celtics did a great job of hiding him. Unfortunately, as of right now, Isaiah has not come close to matching that level of play. That hip injury really hurt him, and he still hasn't fully recovered from it. He doesn't look anywhere close to his former self. There's no explosiveness, no lift in his jump shots, and overall he's just a lot slower. I guess nobody's bringing out the Brinks truck anymore. It honestly sucks, I feel really bad for him. Nevertheless, that 2016-17 season will always be remembered. And number 1, Jerry Stackhouse. So, Jerry Stackhouse is remembered very differently depending on who you talk to. For me, I remember the Pistons trading him away for Rip Hamilton, and that trade turned them into a much better team. Even though Stackhouse was arguably the better individual player, his playstyle never fit in with the Pistons, or any other team for that matter. In the 2000-2001 season, Stackhouse averaged 29.8 points per game, finishing second in the league only behind Allen Iverson. His next highest points per game average was only 23.6, which was the year before. But even though 29.8 points per game looks great on paper, it was not pleasant to watch. Near the end of the season, the Pistons were out of the playoff race, so Stackhouse started to chuck up shots, trying desperately to get the scoring title. Even though he failed, he did lead the league in something, and that was missed field goals. He missed a total of 1,153 shots in that season, over 100 more than the second place Allen Iverson. That's absurd. For comparison, at that time, the last player to have missed more shots than Stackhouse was Michael Jordan in 1987. Stackhouse, though, was nowhere near as efficient. He shot 40% from the field and didn't take that many threes either. Yeah, it was really bad, but hey, it's 30 points per game, right? Alright, that's all folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. What other players do you know who've had very surprising scoring seasons? Let me know your thoughts, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.